So it looks like, like we've got to talk about I'll talk about Vaush and the whirlwind of chatter surrounding him lately. I did take a moment to check out his response to all the buzz, and here's my 2 cents on the whole situation. Vaush is a bit of a polarizing figure, right? You've got folks who nod along to like half of what he says, while the other half leaves them scratching their heads. The reason we're bringing this up is that there's been a lot of talk about his, let's call it, unique collection of digital content. For starters, Vaush seems to have quite the questionable fashion taste when it comes to saving images. Now, there have been many showing off images that are supposed to be from his computer, showcasing a rather uh, organized chaos of folders. Among these, there's this one folder with fashion outfits he's eyeing, his taxes, nothing too wild there. But then you've got these folders labeled with XX this and XX that, which I got to say does raise a few eyebrows. The real eyebrow raiser here is the kind of content we're dealing with. It's definitely not your run-of-the-mill internet stuff. We've got some pretty wild animal-related content, and even more unsettling, some material involving anime characters look like children that's had to be censored. It's some real degenerate shit. That's when things start getting really cloudy for some. According to some digging around, Vaush is pretty into anime and manga, which isn't a crime in itself, but it does bring up questions about some of the content he's associated with. He's been quick to defend himself, saying he's not into anything illegal or harmful. And while he does admit to enjoying adult content, who doesn't, right? The specifics of his collection have become a point of contention. Now, I'm not here to label Vaush as anything. In fact, I think the whole pedophile accusation is a bridge too far without proper concrete evidence. But it's clear he's got some, let's say, unconventional interests. And honestly, if his fans really, really want to support him, I mean, make him the prettiest gal in the ball. Maybe they should consider getting him a full-on horse costume. Not just any horse costume, mind you, but one that would make him the envy of every furry convention from here to Timbuktu. It's time for Vaush to live out his dreams, touch some grass, and gallop into the sunset of internet fame. Just imagine the look on his face, the wind in his mane, as he frolics freely in his natural habitat. It's the least we can do for a guy who's given us so much to talk about. As for the more serious accusations, like the bestiality stuff, Vaush has been pretty quiet. It's a delicate topic, and his silence speaks volumes. It's a strange juxtaposition. A guy known for his bold takes, suddenly playing it coy. To wrap this up, Vaush is definitely a character. Half the time I find myself nodding along to his points, and the other half I'm wondering if we're even on the same planet. Vaush, in his element, is like a lone cowboy in the vast frontier of the internet, always ready to stir the pot with the gusto of someone who's found an untamed stallion in the wilds of the West. He's not just riding through. He's leaving hoofprints in the most debated corners of the prairie. And let's face it, in the grand, glittering circus of internet personalities, he's not just any act. He's the rider on a horse. No. Wait. Vaush is the wild, uncontrolled horse that's part meme, part myth, galloping between the rings of laughter and cringes, a spectacle under the big top that you can't help but watch. Is it a daring feat or a comedic tumble? Depends on the day and the controversy. He's not just riding through, he's leaving hoofprints in the most debated corners of the prairie. And let's face it, in the grand, glittering circus of internet personalities, he's not just any act. He's the rider on a horse. Vaush is the wild, uncontrolled horse that's part meme, part myth, galloping between the rings of laughter and cringes, a spectacle under the big top that you can't help but watch. Is it a daring feat or a comedic tumble? Depends on the day and the controversy. Peeking into Vaush's collection feels a lot like watching him wander through a murky, whispered about forest of lolicon content where the air is thick with moral and legal questions. He's cautious, almost like he's holding a map, claiming he's just on a quick stroll through. You can tell he gets that there's something off about what he's got tucked away, but he's dancing around saying it outright, probably because he's not keen on kicking up a storm of backlash. So we've come to the end of our little adventure through the digital wilds with Vaush. He's kind of like that intriguing shadow you see galloping in the distance, or maybe the main character in an anime who's either the hero or the villain, depending on the episode. Whether he's galloping towards the next big controversy or charging at the internet's version of windmills, he's definitely stirring things up. And me, I'm just here telling the story, tapping away at my keys, ready to dive into whatever tale comes next.